Hold on a second.
That's the case that changed everything.
Right, and essentially what it said was, just give you the rundown on the case. There was a guy, supposedly he was drunk. He's walking alongside the railroad tracks. Railroad, train comes by, and there's something sticking off the train, some kind of metal pole, some kind of hook or something. It hit him. I want to say it either cut his arm off or he had to lose his arm because of the injury to it or whatever. Yeah. And essentially what Mr. Tompkins tried to say was that he wanted to sue the railroad under common law. He wanted to sue the railroad at the federal level under common law. And what they decided in that case, it eventually made its way all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court erroneously said there is no such thing as federal common law. Okay, here's the problem. The fucking Constitution itself is based on common law. This entire country is based on common law. Before there was an American Revolution, what did you have? You had English common law. So at what point do you think y'all can legally, lawfully separate yourself from common law? It's not possible. But they did it anyway. And since it's basically the middle of a depression, the middle of a war, you got Hitler stomping around in Europe, 1938, invasion of Poland, the shit just slips under the rug. Okay. But that case can be overturned at any time. That's another thing that everybody has to realize.
They also denied him, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, they also denied him based on the fact that he didn't have a contract with the railroad, therefore he didn't have standing to sue them.
That's pure. I mean, that's, and to be honest with you, I don't even, when I see a case or even a law that's bullshit, I don't even honor their arguments with all the, in-depth analysis and shit. Clearly, that's pure bullshit. You don't have a contract, really? So I don't have a contract with anybody that fucking rear ends me in a car. or they don't have, I don't have you were driving a Toyota with a defective steering wheel. I don't have a fucking contract with Toyota, so I can't see you. It's pure bullshit. But at any rate, that's what they did. Because again, 1938, how many people even know how to read and write properly? How many people are truly educated in 1938? Public school wasn't even a universal thing in 1938. So you could do shit like that. You can get away with that. But like I said, and that's another reason why, what I'm about to tell you, another reason why I don't quote Supreme Court cases. Why? Because even Supreme Court cases can be overturned. Yeah. Right now, everybody in America saw the spectacle with Justice Kavanaugh. And it doesn't matter what you believe. You could be an anarchist, Democrat. I don't give a fuck what you believe. The bottom line is Roe versus Wade can be overturned. And this is why everybody's so pissed off, because they scared to death that a Supreme Court case is going to be overturned. Well, guess what? That means all the fucking Supreme Court cases can be overturned with the correct arguments if there's an improper decision has been rendered. So this is why I don't quote Supreme Court cases, because if you get the wrong judges in there or the right ones, any goddamn Supreme Court case can be overturned. That's why, again, I can quote Supreme Court law just as well as anybody, but I don't, because anything you quote, anything you rely on, once it's overturned, then guess what? Where did your argument go? Where did your remedy go? Now you can go right back and refight your shit. So this is why I say you just cut the head off the snake before it even start wiggling around. You go after the judge and don't even waste time with nothing else. I'm going to disqualify everybody if I have to. I'm going to disqualify the judge. I'm going to disqualify the goddamn opposing counsel. You want to strike fear in so many fucking people's hearts that they essentially just give you what you want just to get you the fuck out of their courthouse. And we don't ever want to see you again. And we don't ever want to see you up in here, arguing on nobody else's behalf. I don't like to use that T word that rhymes with memorize, but I mean, this is basically what you got to do legally, lawfully, Yeah,
you got to be a nuisance.
You have to strike fear in so many hearts, and you got to make it, you got to put so many people in legal jeopardy. Mm-hmm. And again, you're not putting them in legal jeopardy. They put themselves in legal jeopardy. You just caught the mistake. You just calling them out. When you do that, when you develop that kind of reputation, a lot of y'all's legal problems are just going to evaporate, man. It's not going to be an issue. You're not going to have to be riding around here. Should I take my plates off? Should I not? Should I carry a driver's license? That's child's play. That's child's play once you start dealing with these more substantial issues, and once you create a name for yourself to where they're not going to fuck with you, even if you don't have license plates on your car, which I don't recommend, by the way. Even if you don't have a driver's license. Like I said, none of y'all, I haven't met anybody with a worse driver's license situation than me. You know, I've seen the actual entry, Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. I've seen I'm not just pulling numbers out of my ass. I just don't want to pay for the actual driving record that says suspended until 9,999.
Why they do that?
Wow.
It's there. I've seen it.
Crazy. That's
You know?
crazy.
So, but again, why am I not arrested anytime I'm pulled over? Why am I not under the jail? Why haven't I been criminally prosecuted and told that I can never fucking drive a car until I get this issue cleared up or whatever?
You're not a threat. As long as you ain't a threat to society.
Yeah, I'm not a threat to society, but I'm a threat to them. They know. You listen.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, we don't want you in jail talking this shit. We don't want you sitting in the peanut gallery advising people on what they need to do and what they need to say.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, if they decided to go to war with me, I'm not gonna, again, I can just go to the courthouse every day and just sit there and just stand up. Anytime I hear anything wrong, I can stand up. Your Honor, may I have permission to speak? Who are you? What are you? What is your interest in this case? Well, I have some information that's pertinent to this case. Oh, really? What would that be? Well, you just committed judicial misconduct. That's what. You, Mr. Jones, the defendant, you need to file a motion. You need to stand up right now and object on and for the record that, to the best of your knowledge and belief, Judge Smartass just committed judicial misconduct and abuse of judicial discretion, and both your attorney and the prosecutor also committed professional misconduct because they saw the judge commit judicial misconduct, and they didn't object. They didn't give the judge notice. They didn't give the judge motion for reconsideration. None of that. So they're equally guilty. So you got 3 fucking motions for judicial and professional. 1 judicial, 2 professional misconduct cases against everybody standing here. And I can sit the fuck right back down, and there's nothing a bailiff or anybody else can tell me. You can't remove me from the fucking courtroom. Try it. Try me. I just made a lawful motion. I just gave you lawful information of judicial misconduct. How many times do you think they want to see that happen in the course of a day or a week? I'm self-employed. I got all the fucking time in the world. I can do my job from my cell phone. That's what I'm saying. Once you, again, I've had some smart ass judges try to refer me for prosecution, I got open warrants right now. Just right briefly, somebody from the chat said, will this recording be available? Honestly, I wasn't recording until just recently. I usually try to record to like the Zoom. You can record to your device or whatever, but I just something I got to get better about doing because let me see. But I can give you just you don't really even need to memorize or remember anything that I'm saying. If you don't remember anything that I just said, the only 2 words you or anybody else needs to remember is judicial misconduct. Okay? That is your ace in the hole. That's your magic bullet. That's everything. Judicial misconduct, abuse of judicial discretion. I was going to show y'all my little driving record, but I guess what we'll do instead. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw that link. There was a, let me do something right quick. I posted a link to this meeting on my Facebook page, and I included some links on there to for anybody. I'm not real big on links. People always trying to get on my ass. Ooh, give me a link. listen, links ain't gonna save your ass. You need to,
You ain't
at
lying.
some point you have to commit this stuff to memory. If you, like I said, me personally, I don't even have to file paperwork. I don't have to file paperwork at all. I can do all of this shit off the top of my head for any case, anywhere. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I see Miss Ann over here live blogging the phone call. Thank you. What are we doing?
Where you from, bro? I'm sorry. I've never heard of you. I don't know if you've been on Facebook or anything, but
Oh yeah, no, and that's the thing. Everything I'm telling you, I've been posting this on Facebook for years. More openly now. But I mean,
yeah.
when I say I've gotten capital murder charges dropped, that was in 2005. That was 13 years ago. Before that, I was tussling with the IRS on my own personal IRS issues, being audited and shit like that. And I've sat in federal courthouses and talked to the regional director of the IRS and had him lie to me face to face. And that's what kind of set me off. And, I'm like, okay, I'm going for jugulars now. I'm not even playing with y'all. If y'all look in the chat box, I posted a link to the Facebook post I made, and we can actually look at some stuff in there. Some of the links is what I'm telling you. It's basically the same thing. But no, I mean, I'm native Houston, Texas, born and raised. Father's from Louisiana, my mother's from Texas. I've lived here all my life, and I've never really had any problems. I've had some run-ins, but no, I ain't never been beaten, tased, all that shit. It's just, and again, now this needs to be, one of the reasons why this is true is because my father basically, I love him to death. He's passed away, but I mean, he wouldn't object to me telling y'all he was a lifelong felon, except for maybe the last 10 years of his life. I mean, working a regular job and everything, but I mean, he was doing all kinds of shit, nothing with guns, no violent crime. He was more like a cat burglar type dude, jewelry heists, breaking in mansions, shit like that. Nothing with guns, but I mean, he would negotiate his own time. The few times that he got caught, he would just tell him straight up. He'd tell his public defender to go get the prosecutor. Go tell the prosecutor I need to speak to him so we can negotiate this and get it out of the way. And his defense attorney is sitting there like, what the fuck? Who you think you are? Just do what I told you. Go get the prosecutor. Prosecutor would send out some junior prosecutor. He'd be like, you're not the prosecutor. I already know who the prosecutor is, and he knows me. Tell him to get his ass down here. And then they would send the real prosecutor, and then the negotiation would begin.
Wow.
So, part ways, this is in my blood. But like I said, he didn't raise his kids to be criminals or to be, jousting with the criminal justice system. But I mean, even him, he was smart enough to know this stuff just instinctively. This way before the internet and everything else. He just knew. He would go to jail. And a lot of people don't know, they give you IQ tests when you go to jail, when you go to prison. They give everybody an IQ test so that they can basically find out who's a mental defective, who's whatever, who needs special treatment. And every time they gave my IQ test, they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you here? What are you doing?
Because y'all won't give me a job out there.
It don't even make no sense for you to be in here, So, I don't come from a family of dummies, but I do come from people who, wrong side of the trail, wrong side of the law, wrong side of the tracks. Right here, this website on the page, the main screen, the Office of State Commission on Judicial Conduct. This is state of Texas. When you file a judicial misconduct complaint or when you file abuse of discretion, because those are normally the only two things. There's only two things a judge can do, or you can be brought up on charges on. It's either straight up judicial misconduct or it's abuse of discretion. You have the right to make this decision, but you did it improperly or you didn't do it in the proper context, And, you file this complaint. Anytime you accuse, first of all, let's just go through the motions. if you accuse a judge of judicial misconduct by law, that by criminal or civil procedure, and by law, by statute, that judge is supposed to recuse himself from the case immediately. Okay, and that's just basic common sense. You know, you cannot be the judge of whether you committed misconduct or not. It's pretty blatant conflict of interest. We need a third party to step in. So your case automatically gets transferred to another judge. Okay. And then you have the option to, at least in Texas, you have the option, and every state has these. Every state has some type of judicial commission. Okay. Every state has a bar association. With judges, you go to the judicial commission. What is it? It's basically a committee of other judges, some civilians, maybe some lawyers on there. Again, it varies from state to state, but these are basically judges who judge other judges. It's a disciplinary committee for judges. Once you file a complaint, they have to investigate. If 50 people file a complaint, that's 50 fucking investigations. Now, pretty sure ain't too many judges that can survive 50 separate investigations into their conduct. Now, if you go to your state, like we'll actually take a look at Missouri in a second, but if you see right here, it says all public sanctions, private sanctions, resignations. Resignations, a lot of times they'll give them the opportunity to resign instead of punishment. And then you have suspensions. But, I mean, right here, you see this? You see that little fucking grid right there? Mm-hmm. That's 75 pages of fucking judicial misconduct. Okay? That's page 62. So can't nobody tell me that this does not work. You're not using it. I mean, this is, again, nobody on our side of the street. And when I say our side of the street, I'm talking about, you know, people in the freedom movement. I don't care if you call yourself a Moor. I don't care if you call yourself a sovereign, which I call myself, sovereign citizen. I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care what camp you belong to. State, national, you know, this and that, free man on the land. Listen, I've been doing this since Waco burned to the ground. Okay? Since the fucking mid-90s. So I've heard it all. I've seen most of it. I've done most of it. I don't care. This is part of your remedy. This is 65, 75. What is this? 75? How many damn pages?
I'm going after them.
It's basically 75 pages of just judges being punished, and what you can do. And this is actually when you go to the one for your state. Look at this right here. Private admonition and order of additional education of a justice of the peace. The judge confiscated the defendant's shotgun as surety for payment of a $300 fine. The judge's action was without legal authority. You see that? Something as simple as that. The judge's action was without legal authority. Violation of Canon 2A of the Texas Code of Judicial Conduct. Private admonition and order of additional education. He got off easy. 11/9/2001. That was 17 fucking years ago. Next month. Okay. This shit is part of the permanent record. Anybody can look this up.
Wow. Ooh. Let's check the judge in Virginia.
Absolutely. The first thing you should do before you agree to go to any court proceeding, you need to be looking up the judge. You need to be looking up the other attorneys involved. If they don't have any complaints, you need to get yours ready.
Right.
You're gonna pop their cherry. Excuse me, ladies, once again. But you know,
Aubrey.
Listen, man. I told you, I'm a Southern gentleman. I was raised by a Southern gentleman. Like, you know, I got my ways. I'm just like any other. But
that's real talk, right there.
You know, private warning, private admonition, private order of additional education. But see, where it gets really interesting is the resignations and the public and the private sanctions. Now, when they get the look at that. They already got 2019 ready. You know what I'm saying? They already got a dude. 10/3/2018. They just got his ass.
Oh.
See, they got a case open for him already.
Right.
Public admonition. Oh, they already did the case. Hold up. During this meeting on 8/9/2018, review of the allegations, he was advised by letter and provided an additional response.